Her voice came through the phone calm, almost bored, like she was reading a grocery list. "I married a charity case," she said, "for my love for charity. You're beneath me, so deal with it." The line went dead. I stood in the kitchen, light humming above me. My coffee went cold in my hand, not because of what she said, because of how long she'd been thinking it. I watched my reflection in the dark window, a man perfectly still, a man already rearranging the room in his head. I whispered it to myself first. "You're absolutely right." Something clicked. Not anger, alignment. I thought of the flights she'd booked last night, the cards in her wallet, the way she'd started touching me like an obligation, not a choice. The house felt different after that call, like it finally told me the truth. I didn't shout, didn't pace, didn't break anything. I opened my laptop and began subtracting. It hadn't started with that sentence. That sentence was just the blade. The wound came earlier. Late dinners, passwords changed, a phone that never left her palm even in sleep. She called it independence, growth. I called it data. I remembered the way she laughed at messages angled away from me, how she started correcting my grammar in public, how we quietly became I. I told myself not to assume. That was the hardest lie. Then came the night she said I should be grateful. Grateful she chose me. Grateful she stayed. I nodded, smiled. Inside, something cataloged the moment, time-stamped it, filed it away. I didn't know yet what I was looking for, only that I was done being blind. I became quieter. That was my first move. I cooked, listened, let her talk about people whose names never circled back. I checked phone records while she slept, cross-referenced timestamps with her yoga classes. I noticed patterns. Always the same number, always before she came home, lighter. I watched her posture change when she dressed, the way she practiced smiles in the mirror that weren't meant for me. I ran credit reports, saw expenses that didn't belong to our life, hotels, gifts, experiences. I kept my tone gentle, predictable. She mistook my silence for submission. That was her second mistake. I consulted a lawyer over lunch, chewing carefully. I pulled bank statements at midnight. Every step felt surgical, clean. No confrontations, no leaks. I needed the truth whole. The confirmation arrived on a Tuesday. A file, a name, a timeline that overlapped my marriage like a shadow. I read it once, then again. No shaking hands, no nausea, just clarity. That evening, I laid the papers on the table, neat, centered. She froze, her face folded in on itself like paper meeting flame. I asked one question, soft. "How long?" She cried, explained, reached. I watched like an observer at a crime scene. I already knew the answers. Her tears were loud, my silence louder. I nodded once, then I stood up. That was the last thing I gave her freely. I didn't scream. I canceled. Trips first, then the cards. I watched the alerts hit my phone while she begged. I told her the truth calmly. "If I'm a charity case," I said, "then you don't need my money." I slid the divorce papers across the table. Reason cited, redundancy. Her mouth opened, closed. She asked how I could do this. I looked at her, really looked. "I believed you," I said. "I dealt with it." She collapsed into the chair like gravity finally noticed her. I walked out while she was still explaining herself to the air. The house is quiet now. I sleep better, not because I won, but because I stopped pretending. I don't replay her words anymore. They belong to the past, where she stays. I learned something important. Power isn't loud, it's precise. I wasn't beneath her. I was simply done carrying her.